Yeah, we're super excited to be opening conference this weekend. Kids are really pumped, and it's been a long fall, and then you go into preseason practice for a month and a half, and then you go through the 4-week grind of the preseason tournaments. And we played a really good schedule. I think it's like borderline top 25 type strength of schedule in the country. Games with Texas A&M, Nebraska, Mississippi State. So I feel good about the schedule. I think it really was a brutal schedule. Most of it on the road. We did get the 6 games here at our tournament last 2 weeks ago. And I feel like it exposed the things that we needed to work on. And I feel like our ball club grew a lot. As I think our freshman players have really improved in the last 3-4 weeks. And I feel good going into the conference season. I feel like we've been tested. The travel's been hard. It's a new experience to me being on the road this much. I've never coached where I'm on the road as much in the preseason, and probably will make a few adjustments next year in the scheduling. But it's really been good in the sense that I think it's brought out a lot of toughness in our ball club that we needed to find early. And so as we finish up the preseason 18-6 against a really good top 25 type schedule, and we're right where we I think need to be RPI wise. We were 16th this morning in RPI, and we just want to keep growing and getting better. And this weekend, with Oklahoma State, outstanding ball club, extremely good coach with Kenny Gajewski. Coach Kenny does a great job of that team, and they've got the World Series experience, been to World Series a bunch of times here in the last few years since he got there. And they're good. They've got a really good team. They've got good pitching. They've got great defense. They're going to come in, and it's going to be a really hard, good, solid test for us to find out where we're at. Of course, of the preseason Big 12 pick to win a conference. So we're super excited about having them here, and we've just been working really hard the last couple of days to prepare for these games. And it looks like the weather will be good on Friday night. The weather could be a little tough on Saturday, and the weather looks good on Sunday. It actually improved. The weather forecast improved for Sunday afternoon today. So, and it changes daily, as you guys know, but it looks like the weather is going to be favorable on Friday and Sunday, and we may have to deal with some weather issues on Saturday, but we got room to adjust. So I think we'll get all 3 games in without any issues. So with that, we're just dealing with the normal, a lot of little nagging type injuries on several players, and that's normal for this time of year. And that's why we want to build a lot of depth and have a lot of players ready where we don't ever have to, worry about injury to any particular player. And we're dealing with that well, and I think we've got depth made up. I feel like we're getting ready to get Demi Elder back in the rotation and back playing. So having her back will be a big lift for us as well. So with that, I'll open it up for questions.
Coach, who are some of the younger players that you have seen? You talked about the younger players stepping up. Who are the ones that have made the biggest growth from what you expected at the beginning of this year?
Well, I think that there's four or five key freshman players on this team. You got Brianna Gonzalez in the circle in relief role, and you've got Sam Lincoln in the circle. Both those kids are part of 5 pitchers in our bullpen and playing big roles. Lincoln's throwing more innings because she's a starter, but then when Gonzalez comes in, she's a critical piece of our ball club, and we'll get more and more critical of that shutdown role that she plays for us, kind of like a stopper or closer in baseball. So those 2 pitchers are both really important. And then when you get to defense, you've got Anya German, a catcher and designated player, has been really good behind the plate, outstanding arm, and then her bat has just continued to improve. And then shortstop and third base with Haley Toney and Bailey Lindemuth, both now hitting around 300, maybe a little over 300. They both got, they're both among our leaders in home runs, and then they can both run the bases well, and they're both playing really well.
With 7 of your 17 game of 7 and 7 games at home and 17 on the road. You've been road tested. What's it going to take to take this series at home this weekend?
Well, we're playing Oklahoma State, so you're going to have to really play a high level of ball all the way around. They're an extremely good ball club. They're always well coached. They're good defensively. They've got outstanding pitching, and they're a fast team. They use the speed well. They'll run well, and then he develops his team offensively every year as well. So, we're going to have to play the same way. You're going to have to match them. You're going to have to pitch well. Our defense definitely needs to step up, and I think we've got to cut down on our errors a little bit, and then offensively we've got to get more consistent and just stay consistently putting the ball and in play, cut down on our strikeouts, maybe be a little less aggressive and get more swings in the strike zone. And then our pitching's really probably been our strong point. I think our pitching has been very consistent. Of course, with Niger, that's a big help. So,
with that being said, you said at the beginning of the year that you would have to determine on which type of team this would be. Have you figured it out yet?
Yeah, I think we're starting to hit the ball more with power, and I think we've kind of our lineup. I think as we go into conference play will be sort of a hybrid lineup. I think we can get a team here that produces between 50 and 60 home runs, and still steals over 100 bases. And I think we're going to see us play with 2 slappers in the lineup at minimum, with Logan and Maya, Logan Hallman in the left field and Maya Davis in center field. I think that's what I feel like right now is kind of makes our offense go with those 2 kids. And then I think it gives us speed in the outfield on defense. And then I like that we didn't hit but 2 home runs our first 11 games because we hit no home runs in the fall. I think we hit 1 all fall in our 5 scrimmages. And then they've turned that around. And I think we've got something like 18 home runs our last 12, 13 games. So I think that our home run power is going to get better as the season goes on. Of course, the pitching will get better in the Big 12, so I don't know if you'll see more home runs per game. But I look for us to be a team at the end of the season is somewhere in that 50 or 60 home run mark. And we're going to probably keep it kind of a hybrid lineup with a third of our players based on the speed and putting the ball in play. I put Reagan Jennings kind of in that same category. She's not going to hit a lot of home runs, but she's going to hit for a high average. And I put her in there with Maya and Logan as kind of kids that are going to put the ball in play. And then the other 6, I hope, will generate 8 to 10 home runs on average between them.
We've been trying to hold Nigeria back a little bit, just workload-wise to keep her fresh. Has that kind of been the idea the last week or so?
Well, we're dealing with a day-to-day injury. We had an injury at North Texas, and that's why she had to come out of the game in the 7th inning. And and we've been dealing with that day to day since then. And obviously we haven't hit her since that North Texas game. And we'll continue to deal with it just on a day to day basis and see how much we want to use her. We've been obviously being very careful, and we want to continue to be very careful with her. And we're seeing progress, and we'll just keep going day to day on her injury.
What is she dealing with injury-wise?
I'm not allowed to talk about it specifically, but it's just muscle, soft tissue injury.
What's your pitching schedule look like for the weekend? Your pitcher schedule for the weekend. Who's pitching Friday and who's Saturday?
Niger County is our game 1 starter, is our plan, and of course we're dealing with a day-to-day injury, so that could change if we don't feel comfortable with it. But we're planning on Niger starting on Friday, and then we'll go from there.
What's the message or mentality that you're preaching to your team right now for this big of a matchup?
This is a huge series. The opportunity at A&M was huge. The opportunity at Texas was huge, and I think we are learning. I think that this is a program that's got to learn how to compete in those games, and I think it's a journey. And I think you look back at the beginning of the year, we played Mississippi State. That was a huge game for us, and we went 9 innings and didn't score. And then we come back against Geordie Ball, Nebraska, got down 5-0, but came back and won that game. And I thought that was good. That was part of the journey. And then we went to Texas and we lose, we go to the ninth inning 1-1. We had a 1-0 lead, they scored, but we just struggled to score runs. And I thought this last weekend, that was a really good sign where we were able to win 7-2 against A&M. They had the number 1 RPI in the country going into that game. They got the number 2 RPI this morning, and they're top 5 ball club. I think they're ranked anywhere 4th or 5th in the various polls. So for us to beat a top 5 team on their field 7-2, that's a good win for our young ball club. And it's what I'm trying to tell our team is that's got to become what we expect to do. That's not got to be something we celebrate. That's got to be something we expect to do every day. And I think that's the message this weekend is if you look at, when I took this job, I looked at the 10 games last season against Texas, Oklahoma, and Oklahoma State, and the overall score was like 130-22. We scored 22 runs but give up 130. We didn't compete in those games. We've got to learn to compete in these games, and at the end of the series, we want the overall series score to be something like 10-10 or 9-8. We want to play head to head with these top teams. And if you look at A&M last weekend, we played 14 innings, and it was something like 13-10 score. And I think when we start doing that on a regular basis, then we're getting where we need to be as a ball club. And we've got a lot of room to improve. We can improve defensively. We can improve offensively. Of course, we're pitching 3 freshman pitchers, so we can improve it in the circle a lot. So we got a lot of room to improve. We know that. But then I think the biggest thing my team has to understand, our expectation isn't just to be good. Our expectation is to be excellent, and that it should be an everyday thing for us to compete with the Texas A&Ms, the Oklahoma States, and the Texas. That's our goal.
I know before that Texas series, you said you're not looking too much at the history because you don't want these girls to focus so much on all the losses that have happened recently. Is that a similar mindset with this Oklahoma State series, considering the recent history?
I think it matters. I think I have to know as a coach like where they're coming from and what the kids. I have to know the background. But as a team, it doesn't really matter what this particular team, when we walk out on the field, is what we do that day. And they've never been a team come out and go take the field and have the players that we have. They've never had Najee Kennedy in the circle, and Maya Davis out in center field, and so on and so forth. Haley Tony at shortstop. The history matters to a limited degree, but the expectation matters a lot. And the expectation here is we want to become a national power, and we want to become a team that competes with anybody we're playing any given day. And that's saying a lot. Like to live up to that is a lot, and that's the biggest thing. Our work habit has to continue to improve. It's improved a lot. We've got kids sore. We've got kids that are the grind that you go through to be a championship ball club. It's not easy. And so we're getting used to all that, and we're growing into it. But it's definitely a journey.
When you preach that, are you in charge of making sure that morale is okay after losses like UNT and Idaho State, or do you leave that to the players to kind of build themselves back up?
Yeah, I think our team, team morale was really good when, the Texas loss was hard to lose 7-6. But then when you look at how we lost that game, we very easily could have won it. We could have won it really easy. And then to see them fight back, like they fought back, they're a really good come from behind team. The team morale is sky high right now, and I think with the injury part, we just got to play through and know that that's part of it too. Like great players play through injuries, and great teams play through adversity. And so that's all things that are the testing of us that I like, and it's going to make us better at the end of the year.
I know you started bringing the batting machines a little bit closer to them when you were wanting to work on home runs. Is there anything you're doing different in practice right now?
We're doing a lot of things. I mean, as we continue to improve, then we can challenge our hitters even more by the drills that we do in batting practice. In the same way, as we improve on defense, we can have more challenging defensive drills. As our pitchers improve, we can do more challenging bullpen and challenge them more. So we're stepping up. Like everything becomes a little bit more intense as we see improvement on the field. Then our practice can become even more intense. And so I think that's where we're growing behind the scenes, and where we're seeing a lot of improvement.
Is there anything you're training in specific for Oklahoma State?
No, I don't think there's anything specifically. We go down to 3 games a weekend, which is huge. That will change, and you're able to change your preparation to be a little bit more detailed, scouting reports, and so on. And then your preparation for each game becomes a little bit more intense.
How has this team faced and the adversity that has been put on them, and how do you feel that has changed as this team has grown?
I feel like they've accepted the challenge. Like I feel like they really want to be good. I feel like that they want to be. I feel like they have a really strong desire to elevate this program to that, the next level, and to compete for a Big 12 championship. But it's a process, and your focus in your day-to-day basis isn't on the result, which is what we're talking about. It's on the processes. So the process of practice, and their approach to practice, their willingness to get out there and grind and go through the day-to-day routine, it's been excellent. They've been outstanding.
How much does it help getting Katie Lott back, her first weekend back, and then going into Oklahoma State, her former school?
Yeah, she's trying to get back, and she's still battling day to day. She's one of the kids that we're just day to day on, and we'll see where we're at come game day. But it's a day to day process with her, and we'll see how much she's able to play this weekend.
Thanks, Coach.